your life to figure, well, the end of the world will be whenever you pass away.
It just
That's the
doesn't
end of the world.
matter.
See?
Is that what happens?
So, but he went on to mention how many people, how many people in the Bible say when it's going to happen, and so far it looks like he's got a good point. How one country be fighting another country again, you know, like what's going on in
Ukrainian?
huh?
The Ukrainian
The
one?
Ukrainian thing, yeah. And how he's starting it all over again, you know. And to me, I'm smiling at it, not smiling, but I'm saying, well, might be the end. Because I got this paper from West Tech, you remember, did I tell you many, many times, that shows that Hitler and Chamberlain said, we're going to have peace in our time. And that's in 1939, by the way. And I'm only 1939, I'm 17 years old by then. And I feel, oh boy, good, things are going to look good. Well, it wasn't 2 years later that I got to shoulder a rifle. You know, I'm drafted by then. So my point is that that's how it affected me, because the end of the world, they're going to have peace, and then little by little, 2 months after Hitler and Chamberlain said they're going to have peace in their time, Hitler took off, and he went off tried to conquer the world again. And I think we were involved at that time. About approximately, I can't figure all it correctly, but I bet you 10 million people were killed because of this. We're going to have 10 million.
Yeah.
Would you say that right or wrong?
I
Wrong.
think you're
A lot
right.
more people died in World War II.
Got more killed
In World War II?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
24 million Russians alone.
Just the
Is that
Russians
true?
alone.
22 million Germans.
Yes.
Wow, now you see now that.
Obviously 13 million Jews.
How many
Yeah, well,
Americans?
yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Really?
point is the 13 million.
How many Americans?
500,000.
So what was it?
Oh,
What
we
was
made
the
up pretty good.
casualties then?
Well, yeah, because we
500,000 Americans, 250,000 British. French probably like 2. There probably weren't a lot of
But then,
And those were accidents. They drank
Yeah.
too
Yeah,
much.
they drank too much and crashed their car.
so when that happens, yeah.
But they had
So-
uniforms on when it happened.
24 million Russians, 22
Yeah.
million Germans,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
So then what I'm figuring out
But
is,
see, we
a little
didn't
bit-
have bombs on
I'm
us or anything. Go ahead.
do you want any more my
Sure.
viewpoint? Or do you
Talk
want
some
my
more.
viewpoint?
Let me ask you this.
Wait a minute. What I'm trying to say is about this end of the world. I'm going to use this as an example. These are atomic bombs or weapons, you know.
Okay.
And you know that the smallest country in the world is number 6 in atomic weaponry. Number 6. I got that in a printed form. I'll show it to you if you want to see it. And and they've had number 6 for at least the last 5 years. In the meantime, other countries, they want their bombs too, the atomic weapons, because that takes out the most casualties. And then probably, if they do it right, they can also not only take out most casualties, but they'll make that property uninhabitable ever. And in my viewpoint, well, we'll see what happens. That when you go there and drop the bomb, all those people in there, they can't survive it anymore. As a matter of fact, the country can be growing stale that nobody will ever live in there for years and years anymore.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of bad things from that way. That's the way I see it. Because when you have a little country with number 6 power, what about the bigger country? What do you think they got? What do you think we got? As a matter of fact, we almost tempted them. Try bringing a bomb over. Just try it. Just like that airplane that flew the other day, on 737 that's down in the ocean now. They got to have all this crap so that if the plane is, that they thought they could locate it at any minute where it was going. It's down at the bottom of the ocean. So my point is this. My point is simple. That if you have a lot of weaponry in everybody's hands, everybody wants to say, now's my time. I'm going to get this guy straightened out. I'm going to get my homeland back in Palestine, because that was our homeland. But it really wasn't. It was called Palestine for some other reason. I don't know the exact system about how Palestine it came up to. Was it ever a government called Palestinians? I don't know. According to this guy, that was the land that was given to the Jews in the year 10 BC or something.
Who gave it to them?
Who gave it? Oh, the United States gave
No, who gave it to them in 10,000 BC?
God promised them. It's in their Bible, and they were believing that for at least 10,000 years. that that God promised them their own land, their own homeland. And they finally got it, and then it all fell down apart again. But now it's brought back to them again. This is the Jewish homeland, Israel is. So, but these other people, it's going to be a big thing where these Muslims, if you don't mind, are going to say, we want our country back. They think it's their country. Everybody wants that little spot. It's going
Little
to.
chunk
So
of
I think
desert.
something's going to happen.
So,
And this guy predicts it, by the way, how it's going to happen, because it was prophesied. He shows it all in the Bible. You will get this, you will get that, you know.
right.
I got it on print, but all I can do is, I'm sleepy when I'm listening to it. Oh my gosh, listen to this. He knows all about it. Where did he get so smart? But he's trying to show where in the Bible it shows that God promised the Jews their own homeland. They got it. They got it in 1947 when we gave them their land in Israel, and then when the British came out. The British were occupying that area, and then they came out, and the United States set them up. And when you give somebody number 6 of world power with atomic weaponry, I think you got something. I don't know exactly how he showed it that would happen in the Bible.
So it's kind of dangerous.
So my
situation.
story is, even if it doesn't show it in the Bible, when a little country can have that kind of power, number 6,
Yeah.
somebody's going to get hurt that didn't want to get hurt. I think it's going to be suicide, because they did it once before in 2000 BC, when they all came down off that mountain to kill themselves.
Yeah.
You know the name of the mountain?
Yeah,
maybe?
what's-
Jericho?
Huh?
No.
Jericho?
Jericho with the walls that fell.
Yeah, that's
This was the other one where they
They all
jumped off the
jumped off
mountain.
and killed themselves.
I know
Babylon?
which
Bible?
Not Babylon.
Was it Babylon?
No.
Yeah.
Babylon?
I'll think of it.
So it's
in a minute.
interesting to see this guy talk. Sometimes he'll bring up some of the memory I can have about what the Bible is all about. I'm not a Bible person because it's too hard for me to read. You have to get it somebody that had to interpret it, and then
Well, the
it's so
Old-
much
yeah, the Old
different type of
Testament.
discussion and talk.
So what do you think?
They said that there's going to be anti-Jesus people that's coming in and pretend that they are Jesus coming in for the return. You know,
I believe
that's
that.
what he's. Huh?
I believe that.
And I believe in that. There will be
He's
people
one
that
of
say, I'm Jesus.
So
I'm gonna
what do you
give
No,
think
I
when
don't
you
think he
when
is.
you
Yeah.
when you die, when you breathe your last
It's an
breath?
encyclopedia, and I'll be back in one more minute. Thanks for listening. If you look up, let's just, what do they call it in Muslim? Try to get the name. My brain isn't working.
Muhammad?
That started, Muhammad. And it says in your Encyclopedia Britannica that Muhammad prophesied certain things that he knew all about it. And the encyclopedia says it's questionable that is what he really said, because he had an interpreter that say, here's what he said, here's what he said. The interpreter is lying, could be lying, and writing down a bunch of crap, you know. I'm all done.
Okay. So
It's interesting for me from what I've seen in my lifetime.
yeah. What do you think about when?
Say it louder because I have these hearing aids that don't pick it up.
Yeah, I'm curious when
So
you,
even if you, go ahead, I said I was done.
when you.
I can do it. That means I'm not talking. Go ahead.
All right. When you die, when you do
I can't
die,
pick it up because
When you die.
you're talking too polite, huh?
when you die, what do you think happens?
When you die, well, your soul goes to heaven if you qualify, because that's what it was prophesied in the
That's what you
Bible.
do, yeah.
But I mean, what do you think's gonna? You think you're gonna like float, or you think you'll be thinking, or
Yes, you will.
you'll be like, kind of like hearing and.
You see somebody you know the minute you get in there. First you see Jesus.
Okay.
I've read, a lot of some books, and there's some of them are really true. For instance, Bobby, Nancy, Evelyn's daughter's son, Bobby, he's a handicapped kid. He had an operation about a year ago, and before that, before his operation, his mother's husband died. It wasn't Bobby's father, because she had been divorced, and she married this Jewish guy,
Harvey.
Harvey, nice guy. He would go to
They were married
church
about
once.
20 years.
Yeah, about that. But when Bobby was in this big operation, they had Nancy watching it, and she was beside herself because he was all blue. She said, "He's dying, he's dying," and he did die for a few minutes, and then he got well, and about a month after he had that operation, he says, "Mom, I never told you, but I died." He says, "And I saw Harvey up in heaven." He said, "It was real nice up there." And she says, "Bobby, are you sure? Maybe you dreamt it?" "No, Mom." He says, "I know I died. And I saw Harvey there, and he looked real good. He was very happy." And Mary Kay was telling me the other day that Dan's sister had a big operation one time, and she told Mary Kay, well, now that, I know, everybody's going to know, but she says, Mary Kay, I'm not afraid to die. I am never going to be afraid to die. She says, because I was in heaven. I know I was in heaven. And I forgot who she saw there that she knew. And she says, I had been dead maybe only 3 minutes, but it was beautiful there and peaceful. She says, I wouldn't have cared if I never got back here. And there's others, there's a movie coming up called Heaven is for Real. And the parents were on the Fox station, the parents and the 14-year-old boy. And when he was 4 years old, he died. And he said that, the father said it was a few months after he died that he started telling me things. I saw Grandpa. And he says, what do you mean you saw Grandpa? Yeah, he was in heaven, and he told him the name and everything. I read the book even. And the father said, really? You sure somebody else didn't tell you about your grandpa? No. And he says, and there was a dog there, and he gave the name of the dog. And it was the dog's name that his father had loved so much. And he mentioned other things to him that his father or mother never told him. And he says, and I saw Mom crying in another room when I was out in the operating room. I saw Mom, she was crying in a different room. She wasn't by you in the room you were in. And so now they made a movie out of it. And the kid's 14 years old now. And he said he saw a lot of people in heaven. And he said it was wonderful.
Oh, that'll be great.
That's what I'm looking for. My coffee. Now that I'm done talking, I'll drink my coffee.
Oh, now you can go drink your
Where's it
coffee.
You can,
Oh.
you can drink. Oh, you can take, I thought you were gonna take my picture.
Okay.
Here it comes, see? Right there,
To teach is to touch lives forever. Where'd you get that? That's a teacher cup.
Okay, well, cheers.
Cheers. Huh.